Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun, looking at charts like the charts behind me, which are of Alibaba, ticker symbol BABA, as well as Petco Health and Wellness, ticker symbol WOOF. And yeah, so these were mentioned in the comments, so I thought I'd just pull them up here to start, but happy to take requests. Because this is Ticker Request Live, which I try to do every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, but since today is President's Day, market is closed, I thought I'd do it today rather than yesterday. So hopefully that didn't screw with your guys' schedules. I didn't have to be at work today, but I wouldn't have had to be at work anyways. Yeah, it was kind of nice to not be at work and have the market close because I got to do some other things. But at the same time, I can't wait for the market to be open tomorrow. I'm really excited about a lot of stuff and putting out some fun videos. I might actually pull up. Let's see, I got all this. I'm making that Jurassic Park font. I've got a bunch of tabs up here I can close, but just coming over to the channel here, I've been putting out a lot of videos that I've been having fun with. This Soundhound video got a lot of views, at least for the kind of videos that I've been putting out lately. 1,000 views, so pretty good about that. It feels like I got my mojo back. I've been kind of in a lull, and I think that, the reason why I've gotten back on my feet with the channel, I think is because of these pre-market preps. So I try to do them every single day before the market opens, whether it's a live stream when I don't have to work, which will be like tomorrow morning at around 8 a.m. Eastern. I'll be doing pre-market prep. But then on days when I do work, I just record videos, put them out there. Those tend to be a little bit shorter, around anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes when I do have to work, which will be Wednesday and Thursday this week. But then I also do live stream pre-market preps, and those tend to be about an hour long. I always try to start with the UVIX volatility index, the SPY, SPX, and Bitcoin, and then also uranium, and try to go over some kind of random stocks as well in there, just ones that stand out to me. So yeah, I'd encourage checking that out. I think it gives a little bit of structure for the day. And yeah, I think I actually started doing that around my birthday, the middle of January. Yeah, that was just like a really good idea. Somebody had requested that I stream for market open and close to do a streamathon, which I did a year ago for my birthday. But that was just a lot of work. And so yeah, these pre-market preps are a lot of fun. Like I said, the Soundhound video, I feel like I got my mojo back. Neo looking like it could be breaking out. And, same with Celsius as well. So feeling good about that. I think there might be a nice short trade on natural gas. And, I must say that, the natural gas one as well as the Soundhound one, probably short term, just 20% swing that I go over, but, could potentially be held for longer and or, by further dip like with Soundhound. And then Luminar, think, you could see it on the thumbnail. I think that's coming down a little bit before it bounces. But anyways, yeah, I've been having a good time and also trying to mix up the charts using a little, the thumbnails using a little bit of, Grok to make them, some AI to make them, and then I just manipulate them a little bit, maybe add ed, go with the charts, the candles in the background, or, just kind of have fun like I did with natural gas. So yeah, I've been having a fun time. Oh, and Unity Software just shared a video on Unity. This one's only received 54 views. I think Unity Software is in the dip buying zone. And yeah, hasn't really gotten much attention. Nailed it with Intel. So hopefully you guys were able to take advantage. Might be a little bit wrong with Tesla, but I think longer term I will not be. And yeah, I guess I should share what I just posted on the channel. This is from Orlando, who I follow on X. I think I said Orlando on X. Flow trading. He doesn't post too many videos, but he did post this one on Unity and also goes over basically some of his analysis of AppLovin, I believe, Tesla, and I think Robinhood, and maybe some other ones. But yeah, gets into some unusual whales options activity. So I think that's just a really good video if you're interested in that. I don't know how you feel about Colin Gladman, but I really like his analysis, and I think that he's a pretty straightforward guy. I think that sometimes people can be jerks on X, and he tends to respond to them, whereas I would probably just ignore them. And so maybe some of that stuff you don't like, but I think that his analysis is really good. So I'd encourage checking out that video. Lots of stocks in there, a lot of them that I've gone over, but also a lot of setups that I don't plan on covering, kind of like, Alibaba. Don't necessarily plan on covering that because it's, others have been covering it. But anyways, coming back to here, this is what I turned into the thumbnail, just kind of, I like dinosaurs. This is like a Pepe dinosaur, sort of. I think this is like a Doge dinosaur, the Kabosu Shiba Inu Doge, and then just a chimpanzee that has kind of like a lizard tail, and some weird dinosaurs up here, volcanoes, fun. And then a thing that I really like to do when making images with Grok is I just will type in all caps, more blood. And so I think that this is like lava and blood down here, dinosaurs and chaos. But anyways, I see that somebody has joined. If others were listening to me ramble, maybe I apologize about that. But whoever just joined, cheers to you. Hopefully you're having a nice long weekend. Hopefully you didn't have to be at work today, but if you did, hopefully it was a smooth day, an easy, light day. I'm really excited about the day starting tomorrow for trading. So anyways, cheers. Don't have a nice ice cube, forgot to make it, and I ran out of what mainly goes into this. So I got to get some more of that for next week and make some more cubes. But anyways, cheers. Yeah. And I had a headache earlier. I still kind of have it, but I took a couple Advil, so maybe I shouldn't be drinking that, but whatever. Anyways, I'm just going to dive into WOOF. This was kind of requested. I might go over it in pre-market prep tomorrow morning. But a person in the comment was talking about how WOOF is now below $3 a share. I did have this line drawn here, the 786 at 310. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, some things that we could do with this is that we could draw another Fibonacci retracement, but going from the lows here of $1.41.4, which was the 52-week low, and then going up to the 52-week high up here at 629. So just going to draw that retracement. And then let's see. I'm probably going to have to, just make sure the levels are correct. They do look good. And so, with that, we do have the golden pocket here where we are trading below. Then the 786 will be coming down to around 246. So I think there's potentially more downside, so good to be cautious of that. If I do remove my drawings, we've broken below all of the moving averages, but we are still putting in higher lows, so I think that's good. Let's see. Higher lows here. RSI looks like, higher lows over here, also higher lows. The lows in this area, when we were hitting that all-time low, right around 27.57 for that RSI, whereas over here, the RSI was 30.18, so that's a higher low. So there's no divergence between the stock price and the RSI, both forming higher lows. So there's no bullish divergence there. But if we look at what's going on over here, we have that, RSI 30.18 from the dip over here. Currently, the RSI is 29.73. So we're putting in a lower low with the RSI, whereas we are still putting in higher lows with the stock price. And so that is bullish divergence. However, we have not necessarily put in a bottom here in the stock price. So what I would look for, and I think this is going to be pretty important, is that we don't want to be going lower than the lows from over here. So on August 9th, the low was at a price of 231. Is that right? 223. So this is right over here. And so I'm just going to make that a thick line, make that red. We don't want to be going below that level. And I can clean this chart up a little bit by, let's see, getting rid of the 50% retracement from, or sorry, that's not the 50%, that's the 618. You get rid of that. And what kind of corresponded with that is the 50% from over here. So I can also get rid of that. And yeah, actually, I think I might get rid of the golden pocket as well. So we just have the 786s here, whether it's in light blue, that's around 3010. We are trading below it. Or, you know, down here, that is at around 246, as I have mentioned. I'm going to make that line, oops, maybe not that thick, a little bit thicker than it was, and I'll make it yellow. And, you know, this uptrend, I think I'll still leave that there, but I might make it orange. Oh, actually, maybe I want to leave that yellow. Maybe I want to leave that yellow. And then this one down here, oops, is orange. There's kind of this gradient. We've broken below this level, getting a little bit more risky. And actually, I like that light blue, so I don't really want to mess with it. Yeah, so maybe I want to just, and I think I can delete the line there. This is, I was just talking about bullish divergence. Here's some bearish divergence, I imagine, where you have higher highs coming in the stock price, lower highs in the RSI, and then it has broken down. Since then, it looks like it has been a return of about 50%. I think that we could be going lower. I think that there is still further downside potential to around, you know, maybe 17, 18% to the downside to around 246. So that is what I would be looking for, and to most definitely be holding above 223. Don't want to be going lower than that. But if we do get to that level, it's quite possible. Maybe I actually want to make this, maybe I want to make this purple. Like that could potentially be a neckline if we do form a shoulder here. And then if we do come down to 223, that would actually, you know, while purple might look good, I tend to associate that with necklines. This would be a head and shoulders pattern that would be bearish. So getting to that purple line, we do not want to see that. Caution. And I might actually put an alert there, even though I don't really pay attention to WOOF. I will do at 223. And that would be like, this is probably going lower. And, you know, we could think of a measurement from this. I'll check the chat in just a second. Sorry, I'm going so long at this. But just getting that midpoint to that purple line, that could suggest downside move to, you know, below $0 a share. I don't think that's going to happen. But, you know, I mean, if we do get to that purple line, that could also be like a, I want to get this there, auto fit, cool. That could maybe be like a fake out thing, because it's definitely not going to have a measured move to sub-zero. But I guess it could sort of, you know, if there's some reverse splits and stuff. But yeah, I would look for this to, I guess I'll draw. I've been tending to do this. I enjoy doing it. I would look for a move down to here. And then maybe something like this. Maybe it gets rejected at that yellow line. That's a nice arrow. Sometimes the arrows that I draw suck. That's a decent arrow. So that's something that I would look for with this. Further downside of 15 to 20%, and then maybe recovering some of these levels. Still putting in higher lows, so doesn't look too bad. And so, what's up? BBAI and ChargePoint. Yeah, I'll gladly add those up here. If you'd like me to go over one over the other, I feel like, did I recently do a ChargePoint video? I probably covered them recently. But yeah, BBAI, this is one that, you know, I did not participate in, was considering getting in around, I don't know, maybe up here. I was late. But yeah, I mean, I kind of saw this pulling back, and it kind of did do that. It did go up here and then pull down to this level. It's just like, I don't know if I can shrink this, if I can morph it or anything, but it's like hit the top here and then pulled back to that point there, and then it's going up. So it's just kind of like you got to shrink this doodle, and you kind of get what we saw. But I just didn't really participate in it. So I should note, I was just talking about other videos that I've shared. Colin goes over it in this video, so I would definitely encourage checking that out. I don't think he put timestamps on it. It's a 52-minute long video, but I think it's really good content. And for the most part, the majority of the stocks that he goes over, I do not trade or I haven't really covered much on the channel. But regardless of that, I think it's just good to look at somebody else's approach to the market. He's clearly been very successful with it, but at the same time, he has some very big wins, but he also posts what I would view as very big losses, but net, he has very big gains. And so I think that he's a great person to learn from, but also, he has much bigger positions, much a larger amount of capital to be playing with, a bigger portfolio than I could be working with. And so I think it's also good to consider that. Whoever you're listening to, whether it's me, others, if he's working with a lot of Tesla shares and calls and puts and all of that. Personally, I can't afford Tesla calls and puts. I can't afford to do Tesla options. So I just have a very small share position. And so that works for me. And so I think that, looking at somebody's analysis can be really helpful, especially when they're looking at different stocks, have a different approach, because it can just kind of frame better, what works for you. And so I find watching other people is really helpful for me because it helps me figure out what works for me. And so looking at BBAI, yeah, I mean, I guess I drew this. I'm not sure. It was probably a continuation of the purple line. Getting up to where it's at now. I mean, really, I'd encourage checking out Colin's video. Because, yeah, I'm actually going to delete this. I think it's just getting a little too much going up there. And, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of wondering, this is on the weekly. Big up move from a couple weeks ago, going up over 100%, 102.59% over the course of the week, ending on February 7th, and then on February 14th on Valentine's Day, put in this spinning top, opening above the prior week's high, so gapping up to start the week, and then closing lower, having filled that gap with the big wick down. So that is good in that sense. But it does look like a spinning top could be a topping signal, as the stock price did go higher on the weekly. So this is longer time frame. We saw volume come down a little bit, but it's still really elevated relative to pretty much all of the volume that we've ever seen on BBAI. So that's probably a pretty good sign. Looking at this on the daily, again, the most volume that we've seen. I might actually want to look over at some options data. So if you guys are interested in that, I could jump over there. Yeah, but looking at this, putting in higher highs, but as it puts in higher highs, the MACD looks like it might be kind of maybe putting in a double top here. I don't know if the MACD really does that, but kind of had a hump here. Another hump here, so it could be rolling over. Also, the RSI has been in the overbought territory, currently at 70.54. 70 is overbought or above 70. And yeah, we've kind of, been struggling to get this to continue, but maybe this is like a little bull flag and it will continue higher. As it has been holding these highs, the volume has been fading lower. So let's see, what does that make me think about with this? The volume coming down gradually as, this, I think that this could be going higher. I really don't know. I think what I might want to do is just erase all of my drawings just to clean this up. And yeah, I mean, we got all these moving averages to the downside. And let's see, I was thinking about maybe, so we have this run up here. And so I'll just consider the low following that, 117 up to this high of 1036, trading around $9 right now. After hours came down to exactly $9. So I'm just going to do a Fibonacci retracement from, let's see, 117. That's that where, yeah, there we go. Might not be the exact day, but that should be 117. And then up to the high of 1036. So just gonna, okay, those levels look good. The 2 points there. But then the proportions, let's look at the 50% retracement. I'll just throw that up there. That is at 576. The 21-day moving average is at 579. So I feel like that's a level it could be pulling back to. I'm just going to throw up the 382 as well. I just want to see, looking back in time, do these levels kind of correspond with prior highs? And so the 382 very nicely corresponds with the high from over here at a price of 677. And I'm just going to make that line thicker, and I'll make that green. I think that price could be pulling back to that level, but I am also, not one that's interested to chase on a stock that's gone up over 100% over the course of a week. Yeah, I mean, let's see over here, IPO price or whatever, DPI, DPL, whatever, direct public listing. I don't know, however it was listed, around $10. Kind of got rejected from $10 over here. So if I were to go long BBAI, and maybe this would be the beginning of a breakdown, so maybe this is a really bad idea, but what I would like to see is a pullback to around $7, hold that as support, and then go higher. And this is something that, I've drawn this kind of in like the short term, but what this could do is, let's see, I'm going to bring up, more drawings. And so I'll do it from the top over here so the lines aren't overlapping exactly. What we could see is maybe something like this. And, maybe this just kind of consolidates like that and then breaks out. This is probably going to be a crappy arrow. That will look pretty good, actually. So I'll make that line a little bit thicker. I'll color that one yellow. So yeah, that would be like putting in, a wedge over here that maybe from over here. Wow, look at that. It's like I magically drew that. Yeah, so some lines there. I might actually make this one light blue so the trend lines that I have stand out a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think that these are a couple scenarios for it. So, if it does pull down to around 7, potentially a dip buying opportunity, but then I would look for it to kind of, starting to roll over. Yeah, so maybe that's risky to wait for that, and maybe this will just, maybe it's already, kind of consolidated here. It's just going to shoot higher. I have no idea. We could look at some options data if we want, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. So I will probably get on with ChargePoint, and then also I see Emerald Drywall. What's up? How's it going, man? I've not gone over Nvidia or AMD. I will throw them up here. I will say that I don't think that he went over AMD, but I'm pretty sure that Colin went over Nvidia in his video over here. So I'd encourage checking that out. Lots of great analysis, 52 minutes, a bunch of different charts. He does really good advice. Sorry, I'm just reading, not financial advice. He does really good charting, really good analysis. And so I think that it can be really helpful in informing on, your plan. And, just to offer another perspective, he trades very differently than I do, but I think he looks for a lot of the same things that I try to look for, but he also has a lot more experience than me. So I think he's a really good person to check out. But yeah, I will go over ChargePoint. And so, yeah, I was thinking about doing a video on this. And so what I might do, yeah, maybe I'll just cut this as a video and release it tomorrow or something, maybe. But yeah, ChargePoint closed below $1 a share on Friday the 14th, the day after the 13th, which was Valentine's Day. And yeah, it went up about 3.6% on Friday. And then if I look at this, I'm just going to remove the drawings for a second. If I look at this over the weekly time frame, I wasn't really expecting this, but it does look like it put in a dragonfly doji at the base there. I was curious to see how much it went up over the course of the week. But really, it just, started the week at a price of 82.82 and then came down to 66.20 and then closed at 81.47. So very nice dragonfly doji there with the open and close being very close to the same price, very near the top. And so that's potentially a bottoming signal. So I think that looks really good. Also, what might seem, and this might be my bad volume analysis, but kind of what I see with this is that, we see stock price coming down, so that's bad. So we don't want to see large volume when the stock price is going down, because that just suggests that it's going to continue. And with stock price going down, I would think of, candles like this or candles like this that are very big, open very high above, down 12%. To close the day. And then these are the weekly candles though. And then so a couple weeks ago, we opened, at 93 cents, came down over 15% over the course of the week. And so, with kind of candles like that and high volume, I think that's bad. That is probably going to continue to go lower. But what we see here is much higher volume over the past week. So that's potentially bad, but what did we see in the stock price? We potentially saw a bottoming signal with this coming down, so that it doesn't look so good with high volume, but then it closed higher. So that suggests the high volume of the selling that brought the stock price down resulted in high volume of buying, pushing that stock price back up. So I think that's potentially good. And then let's see over here. We do have, let's see, lower lows being formed over here. We do get a little bit of a blip up here, but then we do continue with a lower low. What do we see with the RSI? Over here, we see, going back all the way over here, we see lower lows in the stock price. What do we see in the RSI? The RSI over here on October 27th was, 22.57, so well below 30, which is oversold. And then, the dips over here, we see RSI getting higher. So this was, 22.57, then over here, 24.68, 27.25, 28.86, still in the oversold territory, but gradually getting closer to being out of it. And now what we're seeing with this bottoming signal on the weekly, we are seeing a low in the RSI of 31.29, 31.32 for the past couple weeks. And, that being met with high volume. So that makes me think that a bottom is potentially in with this. But let's look at this on the daily. And so we can see, over the past week, coming out of the prior week, we saw the stock price coming down, lots of volume, so that doesn't look so good. But then that increased volume with that pullback is then met with more volume, but to the upside. So that makes me think that 66.20 could potentially be a bottom, or that we're very near to forming a bottom. Not there yet, though, in my opinion. And so I'm just going to throw up some drawings I previously put up here. One is going to be this purple downtrend. I believe I've talked about this before. It is based on the closing price from September 9th, that being the initial pivot point. And then over here, I've got the closing price from November 13th, that being the other pivot point. So we have gotten some closes at that level, some opens and closes along that level, but no real trading below that level back here, other than just some wicks down, no closes or opens below it. But then what we started to see is a breakdown. We saw a breakdown on February 7th. We saw an 11.68% down day, breaking below that. And then we saw this bounce, which is met with a good amount of volume to push that back up on the weekly, giving us this nice dragonfly doji. So I think that's actually looking pretty good. But we have bumped into that purple downtrend that was previous support. I think now it's going to be acting as resistance. So the high on Friday was at a price of 85.77, just below that downtrend. You know, I can make that downtrend a little bit. Actually, I can't make it thicker. It's as thick as it can get. But, we kissed that level, got very, very close to piercing it. And so, I think that we're going to be seeing a rejection from it. And so with that being said, I do have this Fibonacci retracement drawn up here. And we got some levels to the downside. The 382, I think that's probably not going to be the bottom. That is at a price of 78.29 cents. I think we're probably going to go lower than that. So I'm just going to remove that level so it's not going to distract us. Let's see. I got this moved over here. And so, yeah, the 382, I'm going to remove that one. And then below it, the 50%. So I was actually thinking, I had actually sold some cash secure puts a couple weeks ago. They closed in the money, so I had to buy some shares below $1 a share. That was good for me because it got me to, start buying again a little bit more aggressively. But I could have bought lower. Could have bought at 66.20. That's fine, though. I bought below $1. I feel good about that. And so I was thinking, this 50% retracement, that seems pretty appealing, 76 cents. But the reality is, I think it's probably going lower than that level too. But I do think that's a good level to note, so I'll leave it up here. Coming down a little bit further, we have the golden pocket here, so that's the 618 down to the 65% retracement from a range of about 74 to 73 cents. I think it could be coming down to there. I think it could be finding support there with this kind of consolidation here over these 3 days with this wick in the middle piercing that golden pocket but getting rejected from it, and then these two candles overlapping with that level. So there's a decent amount of support there. I could see that. But, for me, what I would like to do is I'd like to add more aggressively around 70 cents. And so what we see here is the 786 at 70.39 cents. To be honest, I'd like it to go a little bit lower than that. I like it to get to 69 cents just because I think that's funny. But, it may not. And so what I plan on doing, I believe, I'm not sure. I don't have any orders placed just yet. But, I'm kind of contemplating, do I want to sell a cash secured put to collect a premium of 30 cents to then buy 100 shares at $1? If it closes below $1, that would put my average at 70 cents. Or do I just want to have a limit order placed at 70 cents? I'm not really sure. I got to think about that. But yeah, those are some levels to the downside that I think it could be pulling back to. Let's see, just looking at this on the daily, I was talking about bullish divergence on the weekly, but do we see that in the chart over here? Potentially, but this is kind of longer term. Over here, from this low, that was at a price of, it looks like that's a trend line there, but the low on that day, which was April 22nd, the low was $1.21. That's approximately the yellow line there. And so with that low, we definitely see a lower low over here. What was the RSI over here? The RSI on, let's see. Well, I'll just go to the lowest portion of that RSI, 2265 it looks like. And the RSI over here was 2377. So, bigger picture, probably what stood out on the weekly is that we do have a lower low in the stock price, but in the RSI, we, as of right now, still have, a higher low, just like what we saw on the weekly. So there's some bullish divergence, but following this low, what we see is, lower, let's see, this, yep. Okay, so I just wanted to see if this was lower. And so, yeah, we do see some lower lows following that. This trend over here, this purple downtrend that I was just talking about. But what do we see with the RSI? We do see a lower low in the RSI, so there's no bullish divergence there on the daily. So what that means is maybe we take out 66.20, maybe we don't. I think that a pullback to 70 cents seems likely. Most definitely, I think 76 is going to be hit. So I would be looking for dips in those ranges. And if we do get below 66.20, there's just going to be a little bit more pain with this one. But I think that it would make sense for us to be able to break back above this downtrend. And one thing I want to do, I'm not going to look at too much nitty-gritty options data or anything. This is a contract that I have that I think is probably going to zero, most definitely going to zero. It's a $2.50 strike, expires May 16th. I put enough in it that if I lose it all, I'm not going to sweat it. It's not a big deal, but I think I might lose it all. If ChargePoint does spike, though, I'm going to GTFO out of that position at break even. But anyways, what I wanted to look at, I didn't necessarily want to look at this net call put premium, but this actually does look bullish. If we do look at the bear bull slider here, 54% on the bullish side, so that's looking good. And what we can see in the data here is elevated volume over the course of the day, suggesting that there's buying of contracts, whether it's calls, whether it's puts. I don't know, based on just looking at this volume. But what we can see looking at the data, we got yellow, that is the stock price, how it traded over the course of the day on the 14th. But what we see that actually looks bullish, what makes up the bullish side of this bear bull slider, is that we see the net put premium in red being negative for all of the day Friday and then closing pretty negative over here, whereas with the call premium, virtually all of the day we saw net call premium being positive, other than this little dip here, but then it did end the day positive. So what that's telling me is that this volume represented the net buying of calls and the net selling of puts, with the majority of the contracts being bought the majority of contracts being exchanged being calls, going long, buying them. And so the way that you can think about this, that I'm trying to, wrap my head around it, we see the net put premium coming down. It's really not that much money, $16.9 thousand. And if it was millions, that would be a real tell, but this is a smaller stock trading below $1 a share, and so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But that net put premium is down about double what the net call premium is up, which is up by 8.92 thousand. So you can see those numbers over here, and the volume over the course of the day was 2.76 thousand, representing this increase over here. And so that's telling me that there were fewer puts being sold at a higher premium, so people taking profits that could be a bottoming signal, whereas what we see here with the net call premium, we see higher volume, which is represented by this volume down here. It's green, suggesting buying, which is reflected by the net call premium increasing. And so that makes me think that these calls are being bought cheaply. They have a cheap premium, so, it's like buying the dip, buying when something's cheap, with the expectation that the value of those calls will go up over time. So that's another bottoming signal. So this just looks really good, but I did not want to dive into the data here. What I wanted to look at was the Greeks. So looking at the max pains over here. And so for February 14th, max pain was $1. As we all know, we closed below $1 a share on Friday. And so that's too bad. We closed below max pain. It's unfortunate. This upcoming Friday, on the 21st, max pain is $1.50. So do I think after closing below max pain that we will be moving up to $1.50, which is right around this red line here. Do I think we're going to get that kind of move, which is about 100% move over the course of a shortened 4-day trading week? No. So I think that we're going to be closing below this upcoming max pain. That's bearish, short term, nothing too huge. Over the course of the next week, I think this is pulling back to, like I said, 76 down to 70, ideally 69 cents, but I got that alert there, it's the magic number. But anyways, if we look at the week after that, February 28th, max pain's 50 cents. It'd have to come down, it looks like 38, almost 39% to be in the money there. And we're actually above that. And so what I think could happen is we could start to see a pullback, closing below max pain again for this upcoming Friday. But then with this 50% strike, I think we could be closing above that. And maybe that starts to trigger what could be a gamma squeeze. The week after that is $1. And that's not too unreasonable of a price for us to get to. That was this past Friday's max pain, closed 19 cents, less than 19 cents below that, which is, granted, that's, 25% of the current price. So that's a notable amount. It's a drawdown of about 20% from the max pain. Like I said, I think that this is what we could be seeing with it. I'll just draw it out. And so I'm hoping it comes down to around 70 cents. And then following the max pain of $1.50, maybe we get back to above 50 cents. This is all above 50 cents. And then closing above that, maybe that is what is able to trigger us to get above that downtrend. And then we get close to $1 a share the following week. That would be the 28th, I believe, getting up to around 92 cents where that 12-day moving average is. Then we pull back to test this neckline. Not neckline, that purple downtrend, and then bounce from there, corresponding with the Friday, that's the second Friday in March or the first Friday in March. I think the max pain is 50 cents. And then we could, trigger some more gamma action to the upside. I think I've been talking too long, so this is not, respecting my narrative. But yeah, from this, I think that it could then trigger it to get above $1 a share. Maybe, I got a couple lines there at $1.08, and then maybe it does that. I don't know if I can draw the other part of that arrow, but you kind of get the idea there. And so, yeah, let's actually think about this. I'm just going to map this out. I find this to be interesting. The max pains. So, we close below $1 for this max pain. It's unfortunate. And then if we look at the 21st, that is where the max pain is $1.50. So I could actually see this taking more time. I think that this is kind of a scrunched view of how this could happen. And so actually, yeah, earnings on March 4th. Max pain a few days after that for March 7th is $1. And so, yeah, I think that with this 50 cent and then the week after 50 cent, we're oscillating between $1 and 50 cents, until we get to May 16th, $1.50. So I think we could definitely be seeing a gamma squeeze. Do I think this is going up to $2.50? No, not in the short term. Do I think this is going up to $1.50? Maybe over the course of the next couple months, maybe by May, I think it could be up around $1.50. But I also think that we could be breaking below 66.20. So good to be keeping that in mind, good to be planning for that. But I think that over the course of the next week, we will be seeing some dip buying opportunities before we see maybe a little bit of a gamma squeeze or gamma ramp, followed by another little bit of a pullback, followed by what could be another gamma move triggered by, closing above these max pains over here. So we might be oscillating between closing above, closing below, closing above, and inching our way higher. So I'm feeling really good about that. But I'm just going to throw this up because, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. So yeah, I'll just release that as a video tomorrow, probably tomorrow after the market opens. So thanks for the request. That's one that I've wanted to go over, and I've been trying to take clips of these streams and stuff because I don't have enough energy to go over all of them, and I think I can be a little more animated, the first time I go over a chart. Yeah, so I hope that goes higher. I'm trying to just accumulate and get my average down while it's down. But yeah, I will switch over to Emerald's Quest, which is Nvidia. This one, kind of like what I talked about kind of over the course of 2024 is I, was building a short position. I'm just going to drink a little bit of this. I was building a short position in SOXS, which is 3x levered short semiconductors, because it's just like I was trying to predict the top. And, I made some money on that, but I also cut some losses on it later. And I just kind of realized that I think that Bitcoin is actually a good guide for the market, not the other way around. I think Bitcoin, which could be based on what's going on with the market, it's like a chicken and egg type of scenario. Bitcoin's definitely an egg following the stock market in the sense that the stock market was around first. But, maybe that egg's grown up to be a chicken. And the previous chicken is an old chicken, needs to be taken care of. I don't know. But I just think that, the 4-year cycle with Bitcoin, we had the halving last year. And so I think that's likely to go up a lot higher. I'll mention this video that I put out maybe a month or two ago. I'm not sure exactly. But just really kind of talking about my sentiment around the stock market, Bitcoin, crypto, memes, whether that's meme stocks or just memes in general. Talking to Grok. I basically wrote Grok an essay. It wanted Grok's response. It's only got 96 views. It's a really cool video, almost 16 minutes long. And, I just think that you don't want to be fighting, maybe we're below. You could draw a trend line up here. Maybe we're below resistance. But if that resistance is uptrending, we could keep going higher. And so what I think that we're seeing is, basically what I have doodled here in this yellow dashed line. I guess, that's a polygon. Yeah, I should probably try drawing my doodles like that more often. But yeah, I think that this could be resulting in, we've already bounced from, I'm just going to make that thicker. Let's see. I wish I could make certain levels thicker and not the other ones. But yeah, we bounced from the 618. Maybe I want to just remove the 100%, just so we only got 2 lines there. And so yeah, I could see this coming down to around 105, coming down to test this downtrend. And also I think this kind of reminds me of like Tesla. I just put out a video. I'm going to scroll back to here. I got to be better at promoting myself. I just put out this video on Tesla heading to historical support or bouncing soon. It bounced soon. I think it's going to be a dead cat bounce. I think it will eventually be heading to that historical support. That video performed pretty well, 341 views, good for me at least. Oh yeah, and I should mention ChargePoint video over here. So I put that out a little over a week ago. I guess I'm due for an update. So I'll have to release that tomorrow. But yeah, just thinking about Tesla, I think that we're kind of getting a similar type of thing here with Nvidia. A little bounce that might be a dead cat bounce. So yeah, but I think that we're probably going to be gapping up tomorrow in the markets. I think this could go to new all-time highs, which is like 153.13, it looks like, was the high from January 7th. But, I think this could be getting rejected. I got to make this line thicker. That light blue line could be, just kind of a, very casual line, really just based on the high from November 8th. We did open above it, but didn't get any closes above it over here. So that seemed to be some notable resistance until we broke above it, but got kind of a fake out because we pulled back below it. And then we got another move to the upside above it before gapping down. And let's see, we have not yet filled that gap, so maybe that's a level we should be keeping our eyes on. So the closing price from January 24th was at, let's see, 142.62. And I'm just going to make that a dashed line and a little bit thicker in blue so we know that there was a gap there. I'm actually curious if I make this thicker. Yeah, I needed to start doing thicker lines and just drawing fewer lines. I think that would be better for me. But yes, we got this gap up there at 142.62, hit a high on Friday of 139.25. And so, yeah, I think we could be going up to that level. Maybe we get rejected from there. And, what would be really nice is if we did, maybe go up, fill that gap, get rejected, but then pull back to that light blue downtrend and then move up to hit all-time highs. So that would be a nice little pattern for Nvidia. But if this doesn't happen and if it does break below this light blue downtrend, lots of stuff going on with the world, lots of stuff, volatility with President Trump. So unpredictable market. So I think it's good to have a plan for this to do what's in the white line, but I also think it's good to have a plan for it to come down to this historic support. We got, lots of levels there. Also coming down to that 786 around 105. I got this peach colored uptrend. And so confluence of levels. So maybe something happens. And then, if it does come down to there, then everybody would start screaming, oh, head shoulders pattern, it's going lower. But then I think that this yellow dash line would play out. I think it's going to new all-time highs. But, like I'm talking about with Bitcoin being kind of a guide for these things, I think that the market's going to be topping sometime between now and December, or really, between May and December. So I think that there's still some upside. I think Nvidia will continue to go higher. And so, hopefully that's helpful. But I would definitely, like I said, encourage checking out Colin Gladman's video because I think he does go over Nvidia. But I will also go over, I think I skipped over, or did I go over BBAI? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go over AMD. This is one I really haven't covered that much. Has broken below this purple downtrend, and with that, I'll erase my doodle, but we can see uptrend. We can see this, left shoulder there, kind of an ugly head here, and then a shoulder over here. And so that looks like it's a head and shoulders pattern. And so what we can do, I'm just going to adjust the axis here so I can fit it on the screen. What we can do is take a measurement from the top of that head, draw it straight down to the midpoint of that box being at the neckline, and then we can see where this, would effectively be predicting where price could be going. So a measured move, so the distance from the top of the head to the neckline, taking that measurement, bringing it down below that neckline, or actually that would be effectively from over here, so where it broke. So that would probably be to around $15. And that's down $15. That'd be around, let's see if I get that back up there. Is that around, I'm struggling. Yeah, $15. I'm just wondering what's going on with this. Why does that say 295 there? Because this axis is linear. It is linear. And so that doesn't make sense. That's 1482. I don't think that's happening, to be honest. It's at 113 right now. I don't think it's dropping that far. But maybe it is. There were topping signals. Let's see. I think I'm sorry. Shameful plugs. I've got to plug some more videos. I put this out at the beginning of the year. AMD, only 33 views 2 months ago. This was before Christmas when Roaring Kitty posted. I put out this video on his tweet. And so, before Christmas, I put out this video Only 33 views. AMD topping signal of the year. Of course, with the CEO, Lisa Su, being on the cover of Time Magazine, as the CEO of the year, I replaced her with Ed. And, he is the Time topping signal of the year, which is Ed. You can see marked there on the thumbnail. 2 months ago, before Christmas, let's look at the chart. Okay, 2 months ago, let's just actually do a measurement going back in time. 2 months. So let's see. I'm getting too ahead of myself. Actually, maybe I'm going to turn my volume off on the computer so I can just click on this to see which date I put it out. That was on, where does it say the date? 2 months ago. December 15th. All right, so let's look at the date over here. December 15th. So that would have been, this is the 16th. So, and what I actually want to probably do is go the other direction. So 15th is, this is the 16th there. Prices come down from there, about 16, almost 17%, currently being down more than 10%. So, I said that there was a topping signal, and we did not get back above this uptrend. And it's just continued to, let's see, this doesn't look so good. This does not look so great at all. I am going to draw a trend channel. I'm just going to start from over here. Maybe I could get it back to the peak here. That was October 29th. Maybe I could pull it back to over here, but this is probably just going to make it too widespread. No, it's been trading in this downtrend. So, yeah, it hasn't broken out. I think it's probably, I'm just going to extend that out to the future. It's probably going to keep going down. But where is it going to go down to? So I got this Fibonacci extension, $68, maybe that. I've also got this trend line. What's that based on? I got to switch over to the weekly to look at it, I guess. That goes back to the low from April of 2018. Got a little bounce here. December of 2018, and then haven't seen that level hit since 2018 until 2022. Hit a low of 54.57 in October of 2022, and then bounced from there. Haven't seen that level tested. And so what I would say is that level is probably going to get tested. I think that that's a good one to pay attention to. Let's see, are there some gaps over here that have not been filled that might get filled? And so we can see a couple. I can see a couple over here. So I'll just, over here, forming a bottom, closing lower, so that's good. Then we start to go up. But over here, we closed on January 6th of 2023 at a price of, is it $63.96? It looks like $63.96. And then we gapped up, and we have not yet seen that level get filled. So I'm just going to draw a line there, $63.96. Make that a dashed super thick line, because I just got to make them bold. And then we also have another gap over here. The closing price on January 20th of 2023. This is the weekly, dang it. Ah, crap. So let's see, is there indeed a gap there? The closing price, yep, there's a gap there. You can see that right there, yeah. Gap up, okay. So that's legit. There's a gap there. And let's see. There's no gap here. Closed down here, but then got a wick lower. All right. And then, yeah. So there's a gap here. Got to draw that one as well. This is actually like a double gap because there's this over here. There's a little island gap down there. Or, yeah, island gap down, island gap up. All right. And so, yeah, there's a lot in this range. But anyways, the closing price on January 20th of 2023, so that would have been a Friday, I guess. So that was at a price of 77. Right there, 70.07. Make that another thick blue dashed line. And then let's see. This gap over here, was that filled? I don't think so. So there are a bunch of gaps over here. And with that being said, the bottom gap may not get filled. I think that, it's good to not be greedy and just waiting for like all of these gaps to be getting filled, because I think that gaps tend to leave people behind if they're waiting for the bottom to be hit. And so let's see, the closing price on January 31st of 2023 was 75.15. Got that marked there, so that's good. Make that another dashed blue thick line. And so we got these gaps that all stand out to me as being notable. And yeah, we could be coming down like $75. Maybe there are some other gaps. Just trying to think of some gaps that... Okay, there's another gap here, but it's not really changing that price. Same over here. There's no gap or anything. Gap up here, but that was later filled. So yeah, I mean, I could see this coming down to... I'll just go zoop. I could see it coming down to $85. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put an alert here at $85. I don't plan on establishing a position in it in any way, shape, or form. I'm just going to change this to $85. I don't know why I have all these alerts here, but I will be deleting them. Maybe I want to have one that's above. That would be coming to like 140. 140. That would show some strength if it came up to 140. The reason why I picked 140, I got that alert there. I see the 200-day moving average around 146. That's probably going to be fading lower. Maybe that comes around 140, right around this purple uptrend. Yeah, so just thinking about that. So if this does break higher, 140 I think is an important level based on that uptrend. And I think that this could definitely be coming down to 85, if not as low as like 64. Realistically, what I think is probably going to happen is one or two of these gaps will be filled. So that's around $75 down to $70 a share. And then people are going to be like, oh, well, those gaps were filled. This one at 64 is going to get filled. But then it won't get filled, and those people will be getting left behind. And then by the time price gets up to 140, they will realize they're getting left behind. They missed out on over 100% move from 64, and they're going to regret that. So yeah, I mean, those are my thoughts on AMD, but I could be very wrong about that. But overall, yeah, I mean, this does look like a pretty bearish pattern, but I don't think it's going to be a measured move from the top side to the neckline and then measuring that down. And then if we do look at, so just maybe thinking about some bearish divergence or bullish divergence, I should say, we have, lower lows in the stock price here. What do we have with the RSI? We do have RSI over here of around 34, getting to as low as 29.93, right around 30. And here we got to a low of 26.56. So that was, let's see, it was kind of neutral. Let's see, right around, it was a lower low in the stock price, also a lower low in the RSI. And so what we want to see is, and I guess we're kind of seeing that now, is that we're seeing from here to here, that's a lower low. But with the RSI from here, 26.56, we're seeing the low from over here being a little bit higher in the RSI, 34.74. So from below 30 to above 30. And so that is bullish divergence, or it might be hidden bullish divergence, I forget. But it's just when the bottom side, when the lows diverge between the stock price, lower lows, and the RSI, higher lows. That is a type of bullish divergence. So yeah, and also with this green candle here, that was seen by volume stepping in to push that up. Then it's kind of faded though. This could be, it's still in this channel. And so, I think that maybe getting up to like 120, I'm going to actually adjust this. I'm going to add another alert. I'm going to put it at 120 to be above, because then that could be suggesting that it's, that would definitely be suggesting that it's getting out of that channel. And so that would be a good look. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful, kind of a deep dive into AMD. And hey, Nameless, what's up? And Saul, no problem. Yeah, thanks for requesting BBAI and ChargePoint. I will put out ChargePoint as a clip tomorrow. So look for that if you want to reference it or anything. It's probably going to be a long video because I ramble a lot, but hopefully the details are useful. I find it interesting, the rabbit hole of all of this stuff. But yeah, Nameless, what's up? I will definitely look at PAGs for you. And so, I drank some water. I need to drink some of this. Cheers. It's not my best cocktail there. Not my best old-fashioned. Didn't have big cubes. Ran out of some stuff, but whatever. All right, so PAGs looking good. Let's see, though. I think that there could be a pullback. The reason why I say that, I'm not the best at this because it's like tough when things are high. But what we see here from February 5th, we saw a high on the day of 803, got rejected from 8, pullback. And then we see price gap up here on Friday the 14th, hitting a high of 814, so a higher high. So that's good. Also, where do we close? 804. The high over here was 803, so we closed above that high. So I think that's a good look. But what do we see in the volume? We see that we have pushed in the stock price to a higher high, but there's not much volume behind that move. Volume has kind of steadily decreased from the high over here to this new higher high, closing slightly above. So I think that it's kind of a mixed signal there with that. Yeah, it's tough. The RSI here, this is a higher high. The RSI, the high on the 5th was 66.76. This over here, it was 68.19. So over here, we're putting in higher highs in the stock price, whereas with the RSI, we're putting in lower highs. And so that is bearish divergence. You got kind of the divergence in this going up here and this going down here. Following that, we see a pullback. But what are we seeing with the lows? Higher lows here. And with the RSI, the low here was 58.52, over here 56.57. So that's a lower low. This is a higher low. So that's bullish divergence, or maybe it's hidden bullish divergence. I forget which, I could look it up, but it doesn't really matter, I don't think. But then after that, we see kind of flat over here with the lows, flat over here with the lows, going a little bit higher, 56.57, then 57.98. and now this is going up. But what we're seeing is higher highs here, and the RSI is 66.76, and then 65.24, so it's a little bit lower, so that's bearish divergence, but it's effectively flat. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is tough at this point where I think this could be going. I think this is probably going to see a pullback. I mean, I'd be ready for it to come down $1, down to around $7, finding the 50-day moving average right there. This is a yellow line here. But it could get held up by the 21-day moving average, which is at 728. But yeah, I think that this is probably going to pull back a little bit before breaking out higher. I just don't think that there's necessary. But maybe, looking at the MACD, we see like a hump right here. It's green, it's positive. Another hump, kind of a double hump here. And then it pulls back, but it doesn't it doesn't like swoop in. Like over here, this was like a swoop into the red. This is not such a smooth swoop, but it does look like it could be putting in another little hump before finally starting to roll over. And so this is kind of, this could maybe get up to around 850. But then I think, with this purple uptrend, what's that based on? I'm just going to clean up these levels. I don't know how significant they are. Maybe they're useful, but I want to make this purple line thicker. And, what do I have over here? Maybe that line's important. But yeah, this purple line, it's around 850. Then we got this other line. I guess I'll make it thicker. From the lows over here, fake out break below it. And then, there was this consolidation here between those two levels, forming a bear flag before breaking lower. And, I think that we could be getting up to that range between, it might not get all the way up to 850. I think, 850 to $9. I think that it'd probably find a lot of resistance there. So what I would think is possible is, and actually, I'm just going to, I don't think this retracement is that useful. So I am just going to move it up to over here, right around 850. Maybe I'll make that thicker. Yeah, those are two levels that maybe it continues up to 850 or so, but then it pulls back to 730 or 7. So, yeah, I guess what I could draw is that I think that it would be going up something like this before pulling back down to these levels. And then maybe something like that. And the longer this takes, the more pain for retail, the more likely it is to take a long time. So that is kind of what I could see happening. Maybe it doesn't pull down to 7. Maybe it pulls down to 730 or 750 or maybe 8. Maybe it fills this gap here. What was the closing price on the 13th? That was 774. Got that marked just right. Let's make that a dashed thick blue line. And I actually think I need to make my default. I'm just going to draw a line over here. I think I need to make my default thick white lines. And set to defaults. Okay. So I'm not going to be doing thin lines anymore. I want my lines to have a little bit more meaning. And making them thicker will do that. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. I think generally this is probably going to continue to go higher, but it's going to bore people out of it, And it's possible that it does get rejected up here and then just completely rolls over. I don't know. So, yeah, hopefully helpful. And so, yeah, I've been streaming for over an hour, about an hour and 15 minutes. If there are other requests, happy to go over them. Might not dive as deep as I did into these stocks. Yeah. I've been enjoying, diving more into this stuff, going deeper into the stocks, videos, options. Hopefully that creates more value for you guys. It definitely does for me. Just thinking about the stuff more psychologically. Just thinking about how the market works. And I think that the longer the videos, the less views, but I'm really just enjoying, going over the data. Yeah, and I'm actually going to put Alibaba on the PMP list. Oops. Oh, it is on the PMP list. So yeah, I'll have to go over that tomorrow during pre-market prep. And let's see, I've got all of these on my list, but I think that I might have WOOF on pre-market prep since I've already gone over it. That's not on pre-market prep, so that's good. Cool. Is this, yeah, not on pre-market prep. Cool. 9, happy to go over it. This is, before I go over 9, I gotta talk about this other stock, which is, I'm just gonna check my phone to see what it is. This is one that I sold a cash secured put on. It is, what is it? PACB. I made a video on it. I'll just show you the video. But this just kind of reminds me of 9, because 9, from whatever I talked about it last week, I was very interested to get into it. But let's see, one of the videos over here, PACB, 99 views, not even 100. Put it out 10 days ago, and I kind of talked about my thesis about this. You can see it in the thumbnail there, that kind of falling wedge. So let's look at the chart. Okay, and so what I did is I sold a cash secured put, a $1.50 strike cash secured put for 20 cents. I'm actually going to make sure that's what I did. So I'm making sure I talk about this correct. Yeah, so what I did is I sold a $1.50 strike that expires on the 21st, this coming Friday, for 20 cents. So it was 20 cents times 100 shares. It's $20. So I effectively have exposure to 100 shares at an average price of $1.30. If it closes this coming Friday below $1.50, I then have 100 shares effectively at $1.30. But considering that it's at $1.85, it's probably going to close out of the money. It's a put, so closing above, that's out of the money. And so I will not get to collect my 100 shares, which is fine. And I'll just get to keep that 20 cent times 100 shares, $20 premium. And so I'll have made $20 on this. And so effectively what I was doing, and I'll just pull up the calculator app, so I was risking $130. Actually, wait, I was risking $130 for the chance to get $20 back. So let's see what that is. That's, what is that, 15%? 15% at 130? That's crazy. 130? What's 15? What's 100 divided by 15? Okay, I don't like that number. But 6.67 times 20. Yeah, so I'll have made 15% on this. And if it would have gone down, I would have picked up shares down here. And I just view this pattern as playing out. And it's already, played out pretty well. And so I'm happy to take the $20 in premium and get my $130 back. So I put $20 on I get paid $20 and I put 150 on the table effectively, minus that 20, so it's really 130. And so this coming Friday, or I guess next Monday, I'll get my, I don't know, I don't do cash secured puts that much, but I'll get my $150. So I get paid $20 and then I'll get my 150 that's on the side. Yeah, I think that's how it works. I got 20 and then I'll get the 150 that I put on the side back if it closes out of the money. And so anyways, I wanted to look at the max pains, and this is for PACB. And so it was 150 for the, it is 150. There's only monthly, 150. And so that means this is likely to get pushed below 150. So man, maybe I would have missed out. And if I would have traded this like with shares and, rather than doing a cash secured put, I could say, well, I'll just buy 100 shares at 130 and then I could swing it to the top side of this channel. And so the low from the 14th was 143. If I would have gotten 100 shares at 130, which, let's see. So let's see, 130, 1.3 to 206. Was that the high? Yeah, 206. And I would actually have to move this over. So, if I would have just placed an order for 100 shares at 130, it would have gotten filled over there. Now let's see what kind of move that is. That'd be a 58% move. Let's say, I wasn't planning on that happening and I, didn't sell the top. And so let's say I was thinking about it coming over to here. That's a 30% move. And so if I would have bought here and then said, okay, well, I could see it coming up to around 169. I like that number. So let's actually adjust it to that number because I'm an idiot. And so that's a 30% move, precisely. So that's a beautiful trade. And so I could have made 30%. Instead, I'm making 15%. Yeah, so I don't know. That's just, I made $20 and I don't really care about the company, so that's fine. So anyways, this is a cash secured put that I participated in, and I was very interested to do something similar with 9, but I didn't. I refrained. And so I don't know what I talked about last week. But with 9, let's see, there are options with this. Yes, there are options. We can look at max pains and stuff. But so we got the 786 here at 107. I was probably thinking, if I was talking about this on Sunday, so that would have been, right over here. I feel like maybe I talked about it 2 weeks ago. I can't remember when I talked about 9 last. But yeah, from here. Oh, wait, no. Okay, no, this is... I'm glad I put notes in these because I forget stuff. And so I was thinking that, if it was going to come down to, I got a parallel channel, it looks like, drawn here. What's that based on? That's the thing I don't like about parallel channels in Webull is they just go on forever. So there's like no significance back here. But over here. Yeah, so I kind of draw this parallel channel over here. These are kind of like the lows from October through the end of the year, 2024. So This is recent history. And so, I was just thinking that, if this did break down to $1, I'd be alerted. And then I'd sell a $1 cash secured put, thinking that, maybe this would come down to as low as 96 cents before bouncing. And then, I'd be risking picking up 100 shares at $1, but then also with the discount of whatever that premium is, just like what I did with PACB. But of course, PACB could be closing this coming Friday below $1.50. That is max pain, so there's going to be, incentive for market makers to get it below that price. And then I'd be forced into buying 100 shares at $1.50 minus that $20 in premium. So I would have bought effectively 100 shares at $1.30. And then, I could look for an upside move to, similar to this, 30%. So then I'd be buying 100 shares at $1.30. I could be selling them higher. And so with 9, if this did come down to $1, I think it'd be a nice level to establish a position. But with earnings coming up on March 6th, there's some risk around there. I think what's probably going to happen is this is going to go lower. And so I think it could do something like this, and then maybe it finds a bottom around earnings, or maybe it's driven to those lows around earnings, and then maybe it does something like this. But if the US is in drill baby drill mode, I think that a company like 9 that, let's see, profile, I want to look at the profile over here, that, is an oil field service company that offers competition solutions within North America and abroad. I think that could be benefiting a lot if the U.S. is starting to drill more with the goal of, more energy security for the country. And also that would result in bringing prices down. So that would be good for a company like 9. Whereas it might be not so good for the price of oil because there'd be more supply, and then that would result in the price going down. But then, the mining, the more drilling of oil would be beneficial for a company like 9 Solutions. So yeah, I still think this could be coming down to $1. I've got the alert there. With earnings especially, I think that it's good to wait for this one. It did bounce here, but I think that this is, let's actually look at some of the data here from below. Yeah, this, looking at the MACD, we see kind of this double hump in the green there, being positive there. That was looking good, but then when it rolled over to being red, it doesn't look like, it's swooping from red to green. Like it's not this gradual slope up. It looks like it was going to do that, but then it's kind of flattening out. So this looks like to me that this is probably going to roll over, which would mean further downside. Maybe it just comes down to 107 and then bounces from there. But I think that this is probably coming down to $1, maybe even lower, coming down to, where this point is. That would be around 96 cents. I think I had mentioned that. So that is what I am thinking about with this one. I'm just going to make this yellow arrow. So yeah, hopefully helpful with that. And since I've been doing this for an hour and a half, and I will be streaming tomorrow morning for pre-market prep, and I need to create a thumbnail for tomorrow. I don't know what that's going to be. Do I want to do AI or do I just want to do something boring? I don't know. But, I know what it'll be. It'll have to deal with Fort Knox, some gold. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to end the stream there. But before I end the stream, I will end this beverage. So I'm not doing it by myself. So yeah, cheers to you guys. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you had a nice long, oh, I just spat a little when eating that cherry. I hope you had a nice long weekend. If you did have a long weekend, I personally had a long weekend working. I worked 12-hour shifts Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm glad the market was closed today because I've just been tired. I had wanted to play some Donkey Kong Country Returns. I just got that game, but I didn't. I did some other stuff today. I wanted to do some reading. I got Brave New World. Never read that book. Thought, I really liked 1984. Read that a couple of years ago. Thought I should read Brave New World. I don't like it as much as 1984, but I need to keep making progress with it. It's pretty easy. It's not very dense, but I don't find it as interesting as 1984. I really dove into that book. I definitely recommend 1984. But yeah, tomorrow's going to be a fun day in the markets, and I cannot wait. I think the rest of February is going to be awesome. I'm so excited about the month. If there are discounts, I'm excited about them. If there are rip your face off rallies, I'm excited about them and prepared for them. So yeah, I'm just excited. But anyways, if you are still hanging out, make sure you like this stream. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I try to do ticker requests live every week before the market opens. So at the end of the weekend, if that's a long weekend like this weekend, Monday nights, but usually Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. And I'm trying to do pre-market prep every day before the market opens, which will be stream when I'm not working, like tomorrow, or videos when I am working, like Wednesday and Thursday this week. Friday, I'll be doing a stream again. And yeah, I'll be trying to take clips from those, putting out some videos, and having fun looking at charts. Thank you so much for hanging out. Yeah, and cheers, Nameless. Thanks for hanging out until the end. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening and a great start to the week. I'm stoked about so many things. I hope you guys are too. But yeah, take care, and I'll maybe see you